Thank you for joining us on yet another episode of Local Pulse by Quadripoint Communications. Today, I have three gentlemen, three councillors from three wards in Livingstone constituency. My name is Mwenda Lubi Maombi, and just a reminder, this program explores the different avenues that citizens have to express themselves and become part of the decision-making process, especially through the local government system. Like I said, I have three gentlemen with me today, and they will introduce themselves. Kindly tell us your names and the ward where you're from. And if you may, as you introduce yourselves, tell us something about your ward, the location in Livingstone. We'll start with the gentleman on my left here.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Peter Mnyama. I'm the councillor for Smonga ward. Smonga ward starts from the first gate as you enter the park, go in the direction if you are going to Kazungula.
Okay, so as one crosses the first gate,
yes,
coming from Livingstone,
yes,
that's your ward.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
It goes up to Kamatanda.
Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
My name's Hangombe Jackson, Nakatind ward councillor. My ward, we share boundaries with him from the first gate.
With Simonga ward?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Nakatindi area opposite the graveyard, the cemetery. We share borders with Zambezi ward and Dambwa Central ward.
Yes, sir. On my right here.
Thank you so much. I'm Paul Sijikwenkwe, the councillor for Dambwa Central ward. This is the ward which is in between Nakatindi Road and the Mulobezi rail line. Actually, it's one of the richest wards in terms of infrastructure. Talk about Choppies, ShopRite, the new intercity.
Which ShopRite?
The 271. Mm-hmm. Yes, the Choppies, the new intercity bus terminals, the mini hospital yet to be officially opened. Mm-hmm. And it's a ward actually which has roughly population of 29,000 people.
What was your reaction when you confirmed or when you got to know that you had actually been declared the councillors for the different wards that you represent? I'll start with you. Who were you with? Where were you?
I was overwhelmed. I was within my ward. I started with the Heritage. There are 3 polling stations in my ward. Heritage. Immediately I was declared the winner there. I was very happy. Mm-hmm. I went to Dambwa Central, the school there, Dambwa Secondary Primary School. Mm-hmm. I got a high number of votes.
But the actual moment when they just said you were the councillor.
I came out of my house to start celebrating.
You were running?
Within the Dambwa Central, and I was joined by my children, my older sister, and we danced. Mm-hmm.
Was it a phone call? How did you know? Was it a phone call? Someone came to tell you? You were following deliberations somewhere?
I was physically there.
Okay.
Yes, physically there. Uh-huh. Then it was the whole night celebration.
Okay. What was it like for you, Mr.
Wow. For me, it was the happiest moment. Mm-hmm. Now, the unique part is I'm one of those councillors who stay on the center of their ward. Mm-hmm. So I was following, I have 4 polling stations, and I was going around through them just checking on what is happening. Mm-hmm. And I could see just from the figures how they were flowing.
That you were leading.
I'm leading. And the time when I was declared, it's like everyone was on my doorstep. Mm-hmm. And they were busy carrying me and giving up that joy.
Okay. Mr. Mnyat.
Okay, for me, immediately when I saw the results coming, because I've got 7 zones, which are polling stations. So I concentrated much on Smonga because that's where you find a large number.
Okay.
So just from there, when I saw that I was leading more than about 95%, I knew that I've carried today. Because we had.
So you were just working with a bounce, like.
Yes, I knew that I've already carried the day, and I knew because at first Smonga ward used to cover even what is now called Nakatindi. So I had to decide which part I'm taking. So I thought of taking Smonga because, these rural wards, usually they are left behind in terms of development. So I thought,
Okay.
no, I want to go to this challenge.
So that moment now, they confirmed, when they confirmed, what was your reaction?
I celebrated because this was my second celebration now.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew what I was expecting and I already planned for that. I celebrated, but I couldn't go home because we still had work to do.
So, gentlemen, I want to know, at which point did you know that the CDF was going to be increased quite significantly?
I didn't know until the announcement was made by His Excellency, and I was very happy. Yes, to me it was good news. Yes.
So, because I wanted to go back, you have your own campaign promises.
Yes.
I don't know what you were basing your promises on, like how they were going to be funded. And especially for you that's been in this system before,
Yes.
you know how much the CDF was
Yes.
and how long it also was taking place.
Yes.
So I wanted to find out, like, when you were campaigning, the promises that you were making, which funding were you hoping to clutch onto? I had
Okay.
actually had a conversation with you, and
Yes. Okay. Usually, like for me, who is a returning councillor, because once you are not there in the office, you think maybe you just say tomorrow I want a road, then it's done. But it's a process. So usually, I was very careful even during campaigns. I knew what I can tell the people.
What sort of promises were
Yes,
you
so the
making
promises
in being
I
careful?
made, yes, the promises I made was the issue of legalization of land in Smonga.
Okay.
Smonga, they don't have any documents. Even the school, the police, the clinic, even just that area, they don't have any documents. So meaning
It's still all under traditional.
No, it's not traditional. We're in the city council, and those are the challenges we are facing there because we started sensitizing them somewhere in 2018. 2017, when I knew that city councils don't have the chiefdom. So now there was that hesitance because people have.
So the promises you were making
was the issue
the safe one.
Yeah, the issue
Not
of
so
land,
much touching money.
and the issue of land. We say we are going to work together so that we acquire papers, the documents which are needed, and the other promises was we are going to lobby from our partners. Smonga Ward is rich in these projects. We are going to lobby from our partners so that they can come in where the government is short of. Yeah, and we promised them to work on the IDP, which is the Integrated Development Plan, because by then I knew that it's already there because it's running up to 2030. Yes, so
Okay.
I was
So
basing
you were
my promise.
you were very safe.
Yes,
You were
on what I know that it is there and it is written.
Okay.
Yes.
How was it for you before I come to you?
Okay.
What was it like?
For me, for sure, I was looking at the access of police or the security and the clinic. So those are the most important thing that I was looking at. So my view was to lobby through government or through other stakeholders for people of Nakatindi to be in a safe zone. You see, for Nakatindi people, for them to access a police force, you have to.
Were you looking at the money aspect to the kind of promises you were making then?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And
yes.
where were you thinking the resources would come from?
The resources would come from the CDF, which was there already, and the other stakeholders where would lobby from.
Okay.
Absolutely, yes. Sure.
For you?
With me, yeah, the treasurer.
Okay.
Yes, we have the Bank of Zambia.
That's where you were basing your
Yes,
campaign promises on?
that we have the money.
Okay.
Yes.
So then I suppose when it was officially announced that from 1.6, the constituencies were now going to have 25.7, how did you receive that?
That was good news, as I said earlier on. It was a big surprise, and Zambians welcomed it nicely. A very, very big difference.
And for you
actually.
as councillors, and for you as people that are closest to the people,
Yes.
what exactly did that mean?
It
That
meant
there's
quite a lot. It meant that now there will be development, right, at ward levels, and it's yet to happen.
What did that mean? How did you translate the increase?
Okay.
Which is substantial.
For me, I was happy because I saw achieving what I was promising the people. and what we are trying to put in mind with the people that this we're gonna achieve it, such as the police, access to the clinic. Yes.
Okay.
When I saw the 25.7 million, I looked at and said, wow, so it means Monga is going to be receiving somewhere maybe about 2 million. Yes, even
Based on the number
million.
of what?
Yes. Now, I didn't, by then we didn't know that even the bursary is there, the empowerment is there, and the other. Because the previous one, the 1.6, was just covering for empowerment and community projects or infrastructure. So it was just 2. So this one now has brought even the issue of bursary. Yes. So when it came, I didn't look at the issue of bursary. I thought it's just community projects and empowerment.
Now, gentlemen, like I said, this program is trying to explore the participation of citizens in decision making. Yes, 25.7 million was announced. You are the councillors. One of your roles is to promote the democratic participation of citizens. So from the time, especially the funds have been increased, how have you been engaging the citizens in your wards to make decisions towards this CDF?
The process started when the formation of the WDC came into place. We formed the WDC.
After your election?
After my election.
Soon after your election?
After my election, we went into WDC formation. Then WDC formation, we started calling for zonal meetings where people should freely submit what they feel is best for the community.
Okay.
So each zone, example, have four zones. So we were making, each zone had its own day where people would come from different areas, come and submit what they feel is important in that area. Then we move to another. So we had to collect all the views together. Then.
So when you say when you're calling the people,
Yes.
what modes of mobilization were you using? What were you doing to reach out to them?
As for me, Damba Central, I used the PA system. Yes. At the Civic Center here, we have got the Public Relations Manager. So I used part of the ward fund to pump in some fuel, the vehicle, and then could go around announcing that on this date, let's meet at the Heritage, Damba Central, and the community hall.
Compared to the population that you have in Damba Central Ward,
Yes.
Has the attendance been good in those meetings?
On the average, yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, because that's when people could come out in the open and then make submissions.
For me, in my ward, it's quite different from these other wards because it's quite vast, and usually when we go for these meetings, you can't tell them to come and meet at a certain point. So you have to go in their zones, distance, and it takes, for me, like for the issue of CDF, or if it is ward fund, when we are trying to go and engage the community so that they can make proposals, it takes me about 1 month, 3 weeks.
To get rounds?
Yes, because we just do over the weekends. So Saturday and Sunday would meet 2 zones, and again another Saturday, Sunday, 2 zones, then another one, just like that. So for you to go around is quite challenging, but usually we would inform them on time to say we are coming at such a time, then we engage them, and it's the community to tell us what they want. And usually we tell them to say, once you don't participate, it means you are going to be left behind. I've got 7 zones. So once you don't participate, you'll be the last one. Because those other zones are going to participate, and once they do that, you will be left behind, and we are going to give this project to other people.
You've all mentioned the ward fund. How much is in the ward fund?
It's 100,000.
100,000?
100,000.
Yes.
How often do you get that ward fund?
The ward fund is it's every year. It's just like CDF. Now the challenge with ward fund is we approve it every year ending. Okay. Yeah, that's when we approve. So it changes. So this year it can be 100, next year it can be 150 or 70.
Yeah, for this year it's 100,000. We are still waiting for that money.
Yes,
and it hasn't.
It hasn't.
Okay, I just want to put up something. So now, usually those monies are not there in the account to say these monies are forward funds. Now for CDF, they can even announce to say we have deposited the money. They are now with the councils in the account. So forward fund is the council. Those are the money which they collect
From the constituency?
from the constituents, the levies, rates. So it's just maybe 5%. Now it's up to management to make sure that they utilize that money, and that money is made use of. As the Honorable is saying, up to today, this is now August. We haven't received
no one
anything.
fund for 2023.
Yes, even when he talked about working on the road, those monies were left in our previous regime. We left about, it was 40,000 per each ward. Now because we created 3 more wards, that's how it was reduced to
share with the new
wards. So you can see how those monies come. But to me, what fund is the only money you are assured of once it's there to say we are going to use in the ward, unlike the CDF, because what fund is across the board.
Okay.
Yes.
And it's each ward gets the same amount.
Yes. Now for CDF, you would find out of for instance, for infrastructure is 13 million. You'd find other wards we are getting as little as 50,000.
Yeah, so I want to now go to the process, because you've said very well that people do participate in these meetings.
Yes.
There's been guidelines. Of course, there have been a lot of teething issues. So when you are going in the ward, for the CDF, there's a 60% for community projects, isn't it? And I think 20% for bursaries and empowerment. So the 20 wards, was that 25.7 million discussed to say each ward is going to get so much, or you were all just planning to say however much is allocated to the ward, we flow like that?
We didn't sit to discuss about that because, we are looking at each councillor. I want to show the people elected him to say something is happening in his ward. So we thought we are just going to leave it because, for instance, other wards don't have schools. They don't have, maybe it's a health post. We couldn't say the bigger wards are going to have this, the smaller wards are going to have this. We said, okay, all the wards are going to apply. So it's up to the CDF committee to make sure to say at least each ward is being represented, or each word has been given. So that's the route we used.
In short,
okay. So in short, when you were meeting to plan, you were just all shooting in the air, hoping to get as much from the 25.7
absolutely
as possible.
Yes.
Do you think you could have done it differently? Who would make a decision to know that this ward needs perhaps more resources?
We took it in a different way, or they took it in a different way.
Who is they?
The CDF committee.
Our mandate, we are just given a mandate to say, the only thing is to submit as the priority from your community. To say, if your community needs this, then you choose from what is emergency, what is needed
regardless
most.
Of the amount of money.
Absolutely, yes. Okay. Then you submit it to the WDC. Now, there's somehow where, even me personally here, I would say, there was an error somewhere where we are not given that table to discuss on those priorities, so that as they go forward, you know to say, Nakatindi needs this.
When you say we were not given, I thought that's the role that you would play when you are in your WDCs.
No.
We just collect submissions.
In fact, what he's trying to put across is the CDF has got the guidelines. I remember should be 2016 to 2018. It used to come to the council for council to approve. So at that point, councillors had the powers to make changes in case other projects were not approved properly. Now this guide or the act which is there, to me, I would say it's not a good act, because the decision making is made by only 3 councillors and the rest are from the community. For instance, let's pick Smonga Ward. Who is representing us in the CDF committee? No one. Why? Because there is no one who sits in there.
But isn't it that the councillors, that's why I was asking whether there's interaction as councillors to at least air out your priorities and your views to give context.
We are hoping against hope that should
what
be
do you
that
talk about? How many
interaction.
council meetings have you had since the time you were elected, and especially since the CDF fund was increased?
I think it's 3.
3, yes.
You've had 3,
Yes.
and it's not
Because
on any agenda.
We have when we talk about council meeting, it's the full council. The full council
Yes.
is 3. But we have these committee meetings. So now what happens is, usually for CDF, as I say to say, there is an act or the guideline. For councillors, it comes for information, not for decision. So
What nature do the WDC and the zonal meetings take form? I thought those are the times where, as councillors, as the communities are deliberating, you also are there to give guidance.
Yes.
And yes.
Yes, WDCs are there to collect data. What people want to be done in wards. Like Damba Central, I've got this list, okay? After collecting the data, we submit to the CDF Committee. That is the committee which makes a final decision.
Absolutely.
Then us, we are just there, then we are cut off.
Yeah.
We don't have any voice.
This is where I want to understand, because what you have is a full basket. There's 25.7 million, right?
Yes.
And there are 20 wards here in Livingstone.
Yes.
And the process is such that the zones, the wards, you meet and deliberate and select your priorities.
Yes.
And based on those priorities, there's elections, whichever way is used for people to select what priorities they have.
Yes.
And from those, signatures are signed, minutes are written,
Yes.
and they are submitted to the CDF committee.
Yes.
So what do you do as councillors
Okay.
before you submit?
Okay, what happens is when we have these zonal meetings, so the community are going to submit or to make proposals what they want in a particular zone. After submitting, they come to the WDC. The WDC is going to sit now. Those zonal representatives, the executive, is going to sit. For instance, me, I've got 7. They're going to sit and look at those and try to see.
And the councillor, you are with them
Yes,
right
because
throughout,
this
right?
time a councillor is not just an ex-official, but you are a member. You cannot just be elected as the chairperson. Yes. So now, when we sit there, that's when now we are trying to prioritize to say which one.
Have you had a say in the zonal meetings?
Yes.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
we are part.
So you are part of the zonal
Yes.
meetings.
In fact-
So
in fact-
you speak out
Yeah, in
along
fact,
with the people.
We have other wards which have got 2 zones. You can check. They are just 2. Meaning with the councillors, they are just 3. So now, when you sit, you are going out to put them according to what you want first. Then now, when the CDF gives you the forms, you go, you fill in, they apply according, because other application forms, they go to the school, these government institutions, and the community. So at that point, you are going to get those forms and submit now to where? To the council. Yes. Now, each ward has got its own file.
Yes.
Yes. So now, when they are looking at the project, what you have submitted, it's not like there are applications like for employment where you have to know to say this one. No, they go according to the
wards.
So they're going to look at the submission you have made to check out the documents if they're okay, or you meet the criteria which they want. From at that point, they are going again to check to say, okay, what they have submitted, what is needed, what is of urgency. The committee now for CDF. So,
As per constituency,
yes.
and not necessarily per ward.
No.
Yes.
So they are going out. No, first they will start by the ward. From the ward, then now they are going to look at the constituency now
yes.
to say, okay, out of what we have earmarked, what are we going to start with?
So at which point do you feel left out?
After submitting, after submitting, you come in. After submitting, when we sit at the ward level, we endorse I submitted as Damba Central 5 project proposals. And out of 5, believe you me, only 2 were approved. For Damba Secondary and Primary School, luckily enough, they managed to approve a 900,000 for the ablution block and the science laboratory. Then I had applied for 200,000 for drainage maintenance. But at their own sittings, they decided to reduce to 50,000. So I want to have from this chunk, I got 950,000.
So the complaint is the projects being cut down, not necessarily that you are left out.
No, left out. In fact, even being left out. Because what happens, as I was saying at first, you submit those
Perhaps
projects.
before we actually let you continue, since
Yes, there's a lacuna here. You see, me, I'm elected to represent the community. And here the community gives me submissions, what they feel is important. Now, me as an executive member in 2WDC, we make a priority of what we want from the CDF allocations. Now, where I feel sidelined is where I submit things and someone is sent to make decisions on my behalf by eliminating everything which I thought is a priority for my community. So I'm not making any decision. No one is giving me time again to make any decision.
Isn't there a back and forth? So when you submit to the CDF committee, they don't get back to you?
Yes, there is a clause. There's a clause for 10 days, working days after submission. So they tell you to say, we've accepted this and we've rejected this because of this. But this CDF committee did not consider that. They erred. And therefore today we were just going to say, come and see what your projects that we approved. Minus coming back to us. So for me, I feel left out because I was not told what is coming and what has been rejected. That 10-day point.
Has been rejected.
Yes, that 10-day point was not put into practice. Yes.
We end up begging for information.
Okay, let me just come in. Okay, I'll give you an example of Smonga, what transpired in Smonga. Smonga, we've got a school which is from Smonga to Katuvia, it's 13 kilometers, and it is in the bush. In that area, there was no school. So we managed to construct a 1x2 classroom from the CDF, the 2021. So now, we have a school, but we don't have teachers, government teachers. So we applied that we are assisted, or we are given part of the money of CDF so that we can construct teachers' houses. Again, we said we needed a bore at the same school and the toilet. Then we have another school, like for instance Smonga, where we have a shortage of teachers. Most of the teachers come from Livingstone. And from Livingstone to Smonga is 40 kwacha taxi. So it means 80 kwacha per day. And how much are they getting paid? So you can see that.
So that's one of the projects that was not approved?
So yes, we applied that a teacher's houses be constructed. They were left out.
How much did you, aside from the number of projects that you applied for, how much in value did you apply for in your respective wards?
I applied for 1.2.
1.2? Okay, that's in Damba Central.
Damba Central.
And what has been approved?
950.
950,000. Okay.
Like for me, I didn't do the calculations, but as we submitted more than 15, because
more than 15 projects.
Yes, because we've got 4 government schools. One post.
Yes.
Police post. You can see how big it is. Then we come to community, and we've got 7 zones. It means at least each zone was given 2 or 3 applications. And when you count even these government institutions, we had at least almost close to 20 applications. But out of the 20, only 2. And those 2 is road grading and a bore. So how do you...
The 2 that have been provided for,
yes,
is for grading and
a bore. Now you look...
Which one would you have preferred is funded first?
Teachers' houses, because looking at the distance, because from Livingstone to Katubia, you can't use the taxi unless you use the booking. And booking, you are talking of more than 500. You see?
And
it's every day. People are supposed to go and teach those pupils every day. So we are depriving them their rights.
In my case, Nakatindi,
yes,
we had a lot
ward.
which we needed, but we made a priority. Thank God, the president brought free education. And when you go to Nakatindi school was upgraded from grade 9. It was given grade 10 and 11. Now, there are no class blocks there. So we thought it's important we find a class block to accommodate everyone who should do. We make it a priority. Then two, we came to Murwani Secondary School, where we said, okay, we have enough classes, but what do we need? We need to finish this, the school block, the school hall, which Mr. Munyama started. And it was on 90% completion. So that it helps us also in accommodating these younger ones for free education. And then
those are some that have been left out?
Let me finish. Again, we said, okay, on the community side, what should we do? All right, so we looked at it. There's a lot of criminality happening in our area. So can we lobby we apply for a police post? I'm telling you, Mwendaruvi, none of those was approved. I was not given anything. The only thing that I was given right now, even if I'm talking now, it's painful for me how I'm going to go back to the community to tell them to say, the only thing you've been given is an empty tank that I applied or lobbied through the MP himself's office. And he acknowledged to say he's going to help me. But I saw it in my...
your ward so far has only had a water tank
Water tank,
50,000.
50,000. And that water tank, to buy it, I only need a 9,000 kwacha, of which even me, I can buy it.
There's no other project that was
nothing,
approved
completely nothing.
So what do you see as the biggest gap? I think like I've been asking to say, as councillors, do you sit perhaps this is only year one?
Yes.
The gap.
There's 4 years. There's 4 years that we're still coming.
Okay,
how do you think these?
The gap, maybe I start because I've experienced this. The gap is over the committee which sits in the CDF. That's where the problem is.
Is it the committee or a lack of communication?
No, it's the committee. Because as I said at first, here's a committee which is dominated by a certain one. But
they're guided by certain tenants, and I believe they follow the IDP or certain development frameworks for the constituency as they're making the.
If they follow that, they were not going to award certain wards because they are members of that committee. For the cooperatives, one ward gets 8, the other one is 0.
I go to 1.
Because you are a member of that committee. When it comes to the project, community project, the other ward gets, for instance, he gets 50,000. This ward gets more than 1.8 million alone. When you add together with these cooperatives, it gets to 2.2. And again in 2021, there was a project again.
Do you think it's a particular challenge just for Livingstone? If you're saying it's the committee that's an issue,
it depends those who are sitting. Because for me, I can confirm to say we elected selfish councillors who didn't go there to represent the whole.
The 2 councillors that you.
The 3, in fact, this other one because he was appointed, but the 3, all of them, the 3, because even if you are to check on their projects, they are getting 2 projects. Look at the monies allocated. Look at the number of cooperatives. You find that they are leading. So how come you sit in the committee again? It's you are getting the lion's share. It shows that there is no leadership there.
I still want to go back. Yeah. How come you don't have a forum as councillors that you can discuss to say, gentlemen and ladies, we have so much money. As a constituency, we have these needs. And yes, in consideration of certain wards, maybe we start rolling our projects or our priorities
That's why initially I mentioned to say, in management, we need to use bottom up. But in this case, I think it's top bottom, which does not augur well. So in short, these gray areas, they need immediate attention for the betterment of our constituents. and our wards.
How do you hope to?
They need to change for the
change.
better. They need to change for the better.
Because there's a councillors, you have the wards.
Yeah, but if they don't engage us, then we should start begging for information.
Because what happened, for instance, look, here is we elected people who went there to represent us councillors.
So the CDF committee comprises 12 members, isn't it?
Yes.
So within those, I would say 4. There's the MP elected, and there's the 3 councillors. One appointed by the MP and
2 elected.
The rest, they are technocrats, if I may put it that way.
No.
So how?
No, not the rest. From there, we only have the director engineering, director planning, and director finance. The rest, these again, they are being appointed by the MP. You see where the problem is.
Okay.
So we have 3 from council,
so
3 from councillors.
So the MP nominates up to how many people, or appoints up to how many?
6 minus 12. Is it 6 minus 14?
So half the CDF committee is.
Yes. So that's what I'm saying. That's where the problem is. Because when they went there, they didn't go there to represent us. We had these committees before, where we used to sit. They would go and sit there in the committee for CDF, and they would come back to report, because it's just like councillors. When we come to the council, we are coming here to represent our people. Now, if we don't go back to tell them what they sent us, it means we are failing. So even in this committee, we were asking them, tell us, how far have you gone with CDF? No, not yet. Wait for the secretariat.
Is there a provision within the way the CDF committee operates, and how as councillors you operate, that there's a formal, yes, you may have submitted the forms and all of that, but where perhaps you actually pitch in person to explain the projects that you submitted?
You see, that is where we are saying, you see, a councillor here is not a problem. In fact, a councillor is ready to be engaged. But we have a problem here. We have the CDF chairperson who's supposed to bring people together, and the MP himself to say, councillors, you represent communities. This is what you submitted. Now, when we looked at what you submitted, what do you need the most here? So that from there, if it's not given, we will understand, because there was an agreement somewhere.
So
to say,
that is not happening.
That does not happen. Even the 10-day, which is written in the CDF guideline, that the CDF committee must come back to the WDC, including the councillor, to tell them what has been accepted and what has not been accepted, and reasons as to why. That wasn't done.
And even the information we are sharing with you, which maybe I just saw it on my phone.
Yes.
You see? Why should we be begging?
Because your next meeting is it the 23rd? The next council meeting?
Yes, 23rd.
23rd September?
Yes.
The CDF is never on the agenda.
In the council meeting?
No, it is coming for information. That's why I said that's where the problem is. You can talk about it, but you can't make any decision. So the only decision we can make maybe is to change those we elected, more especially those 2 councillors we elected. We have to remove them, because they didn't represent
But
us.
isn't there a provision for how, if there's a vote of no confidence that you need to pass?
It's there because it's just like the community. The community, if you are not there, they follow.
They can also do the same.
Even us as councillors, because we sent those people to go. Those were our eyes. You ask them, how far have you gone? They are saying we don't know, but they sit there.
Okay. So those challenges withstanding, I think we can go. Those challenges withstanding, do you see the CDF truly as a tool through which poverty can be reduced and through jobs can be created, if everything is working well?
Yes.
CDF is a very good thing, and it can turn around Zambia to heaven if it is implemented well. But the problem we have is people that are given a mandate. I don't know, I'm not trying to nail anyone here, but the issue is some people have got personal interest in this implementation of CDF. Yes, and that is dragging the development.
In fact, they are
gentlemen, it's only year 1. It's year 1. Perhaps those are the projects.
That's what I'm saying. I've been there before. There are certain words whereby from 2016 up to date, each money which is being given under CDF, they have a project which is going to be funded.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So as we leave for today, this conversation, what would you say needs to change for the CDF to truly achieve what it is set out to do?
The mindset should change. For those
Whose
who
mindset?
have been given the mandate to make rightful decisions on behalf of the community. I'm talking about the CDF committee. Because as we do the job at the grassroots, we collect the data, information, and submit. So let's share the national cake equally. There shouldn't be an element of selfishness at all. It shouldn't all go well.
What would you say going forward for the CDF to truly work in reducing poverty and creating jobs? What needs to change?
Okay. Let me take advantage of this as well. You said it's year one. Yes, it's year one, but in the same year one, if this is where we can have a right data of us implementing it well. Okay? Yeah. So what we should do now is we need to engage. Engaging and following the right procedures that are there in the guideline. The CDF guideline is very clear. That 10 days that I'm trying to cement here is one way of engaging the grassroots where those submissions are coming from. But if that 10 days is not implemented, then there's no engagement. Someone is deciding on behalf of whoever we don't know, and they can do whatever they think is right and just bring a project that they've chosen for themselves. So in this way, for me, I would say the next time is let people know how to engage. Those that are put into those offices, let them follow the CDF guideline well, because we are saving one people under UPND, under Zambian land. So people must have equal share. If it's not possible that we share the cake equally, let's tell them the reason why they didn't have that thing.
Thank you.
Okay, to me, I would say first thing is, after this project have been approved, the CDF committee was supposed to get back to those people to tell them why, to inform them to say your proposal was not picked.
By those people, you mean the councillors?
No, it's the community, because those projects are coming from the community. So the CDF
But you are the
committee,
link
yes,
with the communities.
yes, the CDF committee is supposed to write, to get back to them. By this time, they are supposed to have stuck all the project proposals which have been approved, and write to those to tell them why they failed or why they were not picked. That one has not been done. The other thing is the issue of decentralization. I would say it is not fully implemented because the issue of approval is taken to the minister. For me, if it was me, I would say let them bring it back to the council so that the councillors can be doing the approval, because at that time, councillors can be given chance to debate, to say, no, this project is not supposed to go this side because of this. Or last time we gave them this and this. Now, the approval is being done by the ministry in Lusaka.
So the same complaints that you have from the community to the CDF,
yes,
there may also be the same complaints from the CDF to the minister, because the minister is the one that has the final list.
And are you aware that last week...
Am I correct?
No.
Yes.
That it's being cascaded as such?
Yeah.
Yes.
And are you aware, are you aware, Manduru, that last week, when the Honorable Minister, the MP for Livingstone, was in town to present checks to cooperatives, we are left out as councillors.
Councillors, we are not invited.
We are not invited officially.
So you can see how bad things are.
Information gap.
Now, who is going to tell the community to say, this is the only cooperative, these are the projects which has been picked? If you are not given that information,
gap, you still do not know why those. Okay.
Because even me,
all right. Okay. Because yes.
Just to say, on the issue of CDF committee complaining that they also not engage with the approved document from the minister. No.
I was just saying, not that that's what they've said,
okay,
but I was actually seeking clarity to say, do they also not engage with the higher powers that they...
No, for them, whatever they take, they've decided.
They've decided because
it's
they're
what
just
the minister,
for
yes.
approval.
Okay.
They are, when they go for approval, it's just like maybe you say they're just going to check on the document to say what they have approved, is it correct?
Okay.
For instance, this cooperative, is it really a Zambian cooperative? Are the names are these Zambians?
Mm-hmm.
So meaning the work has
That would
already
have
been
been
done.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying.
I'll give you now just under a minute each your final words, especially addressing your constituents in the respective wards you're coming from. I'll start. I can start with right there in Simonga.
Okay. Me, my final words, as I said, is just the issue of bringing back the issue of approval to the council.
Okay.
Because it's us who are representing the people at grassroots level. When we talk of decentralization, it means dealing with people on the grassroots. Now, if they are left out because they make proposals and they are not picked year in, year out. For instance, Simonga Ward, before it was in fact cut, only about 2 projects were given. In the past, maybe it's 20, 25 years. So you can see how behind we are left behind. Mm-hmm. Yes.
To Nakatindi.
My last words is it's a disappointment that the good people of Nakatindi have been betrayed, that their priorities were not considered. But I'm with them. We'll fight together to make sure in the next CDF allocation we'll have a share. Otherwise, to my colleagues who are in a CDF committee, learn to consider others as well. It's important that we share the cake equally. I know we cannot have that piece, but at least we represent one people. These people are one community. And even to the minister, to the MP, I would request the MP to have regular interaction with especially councillors, so that we can move on the same pace.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Finally, Mr. Chikwete.
Yes, thank you. For Damba Central, I really need a lot of financial support because Damba Central hosts a lot of wards. A lot of people come to Damba Central. So far, I think expectations are very high for the people of Damba Central. Mm-hmm. And we need to support His Excellency the President. He means well. So even us, we need to manage the resources prudently. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This has been another exciting episode of Local Pulse. I had 3 gentlemen with me here from Simonga Ward, from Nakatindi Ward, and from Damba Central. My name is Mwenda Lubi Maombi. Look out for another episode. Thank you for watching. In the weeks to come, we shall have more conversations with the councillors to incorporate your views as citizens as we continue to delve into the operations of local government and how participation of citizens in the democratic process can foster development. In the meantime, we would like to hear from you. If you have any comments or suggestions about the program, send them to localpulse@quadcommunications.org or call us on 0977 586 506. Thank you for your time.